Currently, I reside in Georgia. I can't see all the participants, but if I know anyone, I'll check later. I'm going to share my screen here. I'll just keep it this way so I can see the panel, the chat. Thanks again for joining us today. I was sort of under the impression it was going to be a smaller crowd of individuals and I could sort of, ask a couple of questions, but that's a little bit different. So it's a larger crowd. So I will just ask the questions. You can mentally reflect on the answers, and then we can discuss those later. Again, Boyte-Eckis, Troy University. I've been with Troy for 15 years, and economics is my first love. And that sort of leads me to my question that I want you to reflect on. I'll share my experience, and I want you to think about your own. It is, what is your aha moment? Like, when did you realize that the career that you were in was where you needed to be? Was it this fantastic professor? Was it some experience, some study abroad? Was it a mentor? Was it just the fact that you had a passion or a knack for mathematics or chemistry? If you don't have one of those moments, maybe you're in the wrong career, but we all have those. And I'll share briefly with you mine because it kind of comes back to the economics. I think I was like middle school, like ninth grade or so. We had what's called a kid college, and I took a class in free enterprise that talked about theories and profits and costs, resource use. And our task was, after learning theories in economics, was to take a $25 initial investment fund and be able to go choose from like a store what you were going to sell to. It was at a college campus, so there was like sundry items, snacks, and there was like some flowers, different price points. So I take it upon myself to bundle all these goods, like small bundle, medium, large, and just sell my heart out. So it's a little marketing, a little economics. At the end of the day, my mother comes to get me, and the guy pulls me her aside and says, "Well, Cheryl, your daughter has $150 with her, like age, 14. I thought she would double her money, but not this much, not quadruple it." And he said, "Listen, she's got a knack for economics and free enterprise." And there was the seed. It's been economics ever since, bachelor's, master's, PhD. My passion is certainly teaching economics at the principal's level. And I very much enjoy that. I kind of just haphazardly fell into the role of this internship advisor, is sort of what I call myself. I don't make any money from this, so I just call myself this because it sounds good. No, it's really a passion. And you'll see, and again, I don't know all your backgrounds, big school, small school, very well invested program, or a new program. I promise you will learn something today that you can take with you wherever you are currently. Again, I'm an economist. I'm super efficient. I can kill a lot of birds with one stone. I thrive on efficiency, and I really enjoy forging new relationships with the business community. So we can serve as a pipeline for our students to find jobs and careers. Our campus has a traditional main campus, that's residential, a few outlying campuses, and a large online presence. So I'm sort of on the periphery, not at the main campus location, and I'm able to place a diverse amount of students, non-traditional, different obligations in life. So that's kind of the background of where I'm coming from. It's not a strictly traditional college campus that I'm recruiting students from. And again, everyone's different, but the goals here, as you can see, sort of align with our AACSB mission and vision as well as a school of business. Our personal mission and vision are that we as professors are techs. We teach, we engage, we care, we create scholarship, so the TEX acronym, and we create geeks who are globally minded, ethical, engaged, knowledgeable, and successful decision makers in the community. So this mission sort of dovetails with that. We want to prepare our students to become successful leaders through internships and careers. I personally think that part of my role as a professor is to have a vested interest in their future. They're spending quite a bit of money on an education with lots of times numerous obligations on top of them. And I want them to get a return on their investment. I think that's part of our obligation as faculty is to create a pipeline for our students to succeed. And I'll mention more about how you can do that or how you can assist if, being a direct player isn't really your style. We achieve this. We foster relationships with business firms, our career services. We market these. We help applicants improve their resumes and interview skills. And this is just sort of like I said, I don't like the full screen. It distracts me. Some pukey other colors, but anyway, since 2018 is really when the data started for us to, me, sort of a semi one-person show. We've placed 92 students in 2.5 years. Last year, we all know it wasn't a complete wash. We did some virtual items. You can see here, accounting's big. Accounting's always been a pretty big area. We also have like a global business degree with different concentrations in marketing, management, HR, general business, and accounting. Accounting's our _1 placement, followed by marketing, and then management and HR equal out, general business, information systems a little bit lower, econ finance, and we placed a couple of graduate students too. So I don't just place accounting or econ. It's the whole gamut. So that's sort of taxing. I've spread resources sometimes a little thin whenever you're trying to gauge the needs of a variety of business majors. I only place business students, I learned the hard way, business majors, not even minors. And I want to probably encourage you, if you're starting small with internships, is to really hone in on your particular specific college and your community. Everyone's very different. Your campus makeup, your community, your relationships, and your ties. And again, I'll mention that in a moment. I'll share some best practices, some more statistics, how we market, and also I'll share a couple of web pages that are still in process. So business firms, just some things here that I've learned by a few mistakes. I can honestly say that I'm an optimist. I just really am. And these kinds of webinars, I appreciate Hawks putting on. They did one a couple of weeks ago on virtual learning, and I loved it. I liked skipping around to the different sections and not having to listen to a diatribe on, the valuation of the US dollar. But I like to have really pick me up kind of sessions like this to get you excited, because really and truly, this changes students' lives. Papers I write probably don't, not even indirectly. But these items, these 92 students, I can promise you their lives have changed from a 3 or 4 month internship. So business firms, it's absolutely 100%. You must communicate with them quickly. You must have quick follow-up. I spend about every Friday just getting my paperwork together, making follow-up phone calls, emails. They want you to operate like a business. not necessarily an academic bureaucracy. So you have to, in fact, keep in constant touch with the business firm. The clearer the expectations on both sides of the coin, the better the internship is going to be, for sure. Really try to pry from them what they're wanting and tell them at the same time what you're not willing for them to take. I mean, we're not a secretarial, temp agency. We are not going to be making coffees and grabbing the Keurig. This is a professional experience that will add to their career, their vita, and potentially a job. So oftentimes they just don't really know what to expect. It's the unknown. So the clearer you can be about what you want and outline that. I give them all a course syllabus, and I provide a standard memo they have to complete. Sometimes the kids will get class credit, sometimes it doesn't work out. Either way, they all are given a course syllabus and an official memo that everyone completes. That way, everyone's on the same page about what we're expecting, and projects, and who you're reporting to. I like to cite success stories and give feedback from former partners to potential ones. It's very important. I do that by giving out surveys. Everyone completes a survey at the end of an internship, both the student and the business firm. There, again, any kind of, I haven't really had large issues, to be honest with you. Any issue has to be addressed and solved in a very timely manner. They need to feel free to be able to reach out to you via text, email, phone call, quickly, and not let something sort of ride before it becomes a problem. I like to recognize, with their permission, their partnership through our social media outlets, our alumni publications, LinkedIn, various outlets, and thank them. And this is different based on your college, if your education or different areas. But in business, we typically, I'm not saying we haven't done unpaid before, but I stress paid internships are what we're looking for, or some type of stipend. Some nonprofits we've certainly done not paid. From an HR perspective, minimum wage pay is certainly an easier sell for students who must have a job. And I like to, tout that it's the one-on-one customer service that you need to be able to provide these firms. And that's sometimes very challenging when you're limited with staff, and it kind of becomes a timely certain issue when you want to try and give feedback one-on-one, but they like that. The word gets out that call Lane from a student and business firm perspective, and she'll do what she can to find you the right fit. And again, we'll just save some questions to the end. You guys can stop me if I get rolling like I'm lecturing. The students, again, historically, I only place business students. Sort of the way in which we just, logistically speaking, to make it simple, the business firm fills out a form, the form stack, and they again give us rights to advertise the job. We advertise internally on Canvas, sometimes Handshake, but with Canvas, we're able to specifically get the resumes from the students. We preview those and send the best, most relevant to the firms, which they appreciate. And when they post jobs on Handshake and Indeed, they might get 50 applications and 5 would be relevant. So we're able to send them those top 5 and minimize their time cost. That's really a big selling point. And so our students are often encouraged, from their sophomore year to really begin, creating a strong professional resume. Do as many mock interviews as you can, shadow business professionals, Make sure your social media accounts tame and private. Create a LinkedIn account. No social media presence is also pretty sketchy, as well as a wildly, non-tame one. So again, that's has to be taught to a lot of students. We vet our student candidates like we do our business firms. If we don't know the firm, we certainly make a visit, and there's going to be some ensuring that they're a professional organization. And our students, some very few firms have any kind of GPA requirement. Some of the larger corporations might for accounting. That's about it. But we make sure they're in strong academic standing. We make sure they are business students that are currently enrolled. We do a little bit of homework, preferably, later junior or senior year. Some of those are more fitted to summer, but we place them year round in internships. I heavily test their communication skills. Like I text them like almost immediately when I get an application, and I wait because I know they have this in front of their face. If they're not clear communicators, no, they sort of go down on the totem pole. They also know that too. They have to have clear expectations as well. This internship is 30 minutes from where you live. Are you able to travel? Are you able to get there? Be reliable? Their dress, requirements. There are some things they haven't necessarily thought of that you also have to convey to them that they sometimes don't know. Again, so students, the expectations are also present there. And some of them want to know at freshman, sophomore level, what can I do? And this comes back to developing your resume. Again, contacting key alumni. We can put them in touch with some alumni we know that are more than willing to talk to them. Go network with students who have been in an internship in marketing. Go talk to your advisor. Certainly volunteering in civic organizations, Rotary, Kiwanis, and relevant professional ones are also stressed. Lots of times, these people will let you come as guests for free. They want you to come. They want to be mentors. They want to bring you on board to, their accounting organizations or AMA, Marketing Association. They want you to shadow them and see what they do. I guess the worst thing is, or best case, worst case is with an internship, you at least can see this is yes, where I want to be, or absolutely not. And you can do that for 3 months and you can go figure out, as opposed to figuring out when you started that first job and week one, it's just not a good fit. So this is just really a good eye-opening experience for our students. And we have a ton of repeat business firms that come back and partner with us. I've got a little bit of statistics here. I won't put those up because there's some identifying factors, but like of the 92 we've placed, 75% of those have gotten a job within their industry that they interned with. So for instance, in marketing, they went to a marketing job. About 15% of the ones we placed stayed with the same firm. So essentially the firm was so impressed, they hired that student. So again, 75%, not bad numbers. Same industry, 15% of those, same firm. 15% of the 92 are still with us as students or currently interning or are in grad school. And 10% have kind of gone different directions. 10%, few of those stay-at-home parents have gone completely in a different direction. And again, that's not terrible numbers in terms of placement. Also, keeping methodical data will certainly be your friend from a business perspective. I oftentimes get questioned about various things, and data will certainly always sort of bring that up, back that up. I want to show you, again, some websites here. Let's see. Sorry, Victoria. These are still sort of in the IT queue, so they're not live. Can you guys see that?
You need to do a new share.
Okay. Yep. How's that?
That's perfect. We can see it. Thank you.
Great. I told her I'm switching from Teams brain to Zoom brain. They do different, they share differently, literally. Again, this is our website. This is like a child in progress still. There's a website for external partners, firms, and then one for the student. So again, you can sort of see here, this is something I would certainly recommend you work on if this is a program or something that you want to start within your school. Start small. You know, again, it's just not going to happen overnight. These are just some internship programs, beneficial items. Let's see, it's a little bit different. Benefits, so on and so forth. We have some pretty strong FAQs. These are kind of handy. We work on, these are always updated. I send these out quite a bit. When I get, again, these are just questions that we've gotten over and over again, pre-screening, all these types of things you can see. A lot of these come back to your academic catalog, certain requirements for your specific college, so on and so forth. Typically, we let the firm, once they hire a student, it's all them. We don't really get involved in any of that. They're considered an employee from the firm's perspective once they've hired an intern. I do check up on them and follow up, but I'm not involved in that process. They like it that way. Seems to work out best. Again, contact us, typical kind of website. Let me see. I'll skip over to, it should work. This is the student version. I'll have to sign in. It logs me out. There we go. This good. Can you guys see this, Victoria?
We can. Thank you.
This is the student side over here. A bit more content. Gives them some great resources. This basically just comes from our academic catalog on requirements for internships, undergraduate, graduate. Just pulled from the catalog. Nothing too exciting there. But again, resume and online portfolios. We have a lot of examples here. You can see format tips, online portfolios are a great thing, cover letters. This is an internal website for our students. Actually needs a home landing page, but opportunities, handshake, here are some success stories. I'll just pull a couple that I know. These are always great, and I like to share the quotes from the business partners and the students in terms of, like I said, these are completely life-changing opportunities for students and business firms. Marvin's is one of our first back in 2018 internships. HR was just his area. He's now with Coca-Cola in Atlanta. I'm just gonna, you can glance at these. Edric now is in IT with Citibank. I can, she's not mine, Paige. Let's see. Again, Hunter pursued a master's in finance, is now running a financial firm in Florida. So I keep up with these students. I ask them to come back and speak to our classes lots of times, virtually now, so to speak. But they're really great about Danielle, Kelsey. Again, this is more of an internal website. And all of these students, again, have gone on to further their career in their specific major from their internship process. Not that they, of course, wouldn't have found it, found their link for their career, but this is certainly a nice stepping stone. And what else? I don't know about your university, but sometimes we are not the best at collecting alumni data. I'll be the first to say that. When you go look for it, it's sort of unknown. So with the internships, this gives us a really solid connection to where did they start, where have they gone. So herein lies another opportunity for recruitment, strong alumni ties, giving. I mean, the story just kind of keeps iterating down the way, especially for data and keeping up with where your graduates are. That's an issue that a lot of us face. And with this, it's more of a hands-on kind of spreadsheet data that I keep up with on LinkedIn and social media. It makes it easier for me to track the graduates and their many successes. It makes you feel good whenever you see what they're doing. And again, lots of times I can, again, we can talk about some questions and stuff, but my colleagues, both professional and in the academic realm, don't always want to be like this active participant in the internship process. They have other items that take their time. And I know that that's probably a lot of you sort of on the call. And I guess my answer or their question is, what can I do on the periphery or kind of behind the scenes? And that is a lot. I mean, you really think to yourself, kind of goes back to your role as an academic advisor and faculty mentor. Go to your contacts. Go to who you went to graduate school with. Is so-and-so, Chris still at Nicholas Applegate? Is he still at KPMG? Hey, it's Lane. Can you give me some feedback on your internship program? Victoria just told me she's head of Hawk's internship program in marketing. I'm going to hit her up after this call. I mean, at least you can put me in touch with individuals that you personally know that will take my phone call and it won't go to spam or to an external junk folder. Local community. I mean, we all are part of some type of civic organization. We volunteer. Ask questions. People are complete Chamber of Commerce events. They want to talk about internships and they want to have answers about those. So start a conversation, give them my card, give them my contact information, and let's let it go from there. It sort of cycles from there by word of mouth. And again, you can do a lot of things even as a colleague that can contribute to a strong internship program. And I certainly know, and I've done my research on much larger schools who have a staff of 5 and 6 people who make their programs, quite visible. In terms of marketing, we do some internal marketing on Canvas and Handshake. A little bit of social media marketing for some of the positions. We get approval by the firms to be able to do that. Sometimes, the pickings are relatively slim. So, we have to sort of go find our little, I have like a little pile of resumes that I kind of go to. And the students also know that I do that as well. So like, oh, here's my updated resume. you have anything in this particular area, feel free to share it and reach out. Again, word of mouth, you can't discount that whatsoever. And what else? I can answer, I could talk all day about this program. And again, ideally, in an ideal scenario, it probably would be better if you had one person focusing on management, marketing, accounting. At our main campus location, they have a larger, pool of individual students that they're able to focus and groom primarily in a major, but I don't have that luxury. So we have a strong online, constituents here for our students and smaller outlying campuses. So I have to sort of use my resources efficiently. And that is to really grab all the ones that I can. And I market to every student. So a relative location, the students see the particular opportunities out there from an early stage. They're able to say, hey, listen, I would love to interview or intern with XYZ accounting firm in a couple of years. What do I need to be doing now? And that's really the buzz that I try to create and engage our students to do right now. And they love it. They want to know, what do I need to do in my sophomore year while I'm taking English Lit and Principles of Micro to be in a place in a year and a half to have a great internship and a career in accounting or economics marketing. Like I said, it's a win-win scenario, and I'll be glad to open up the floor for questions. I can share more data. I can share more items on the website. I can give, I don't have a whole lot of horror stories, which is good. I really have never even had like a huge problem. One time it was a really mismatched environment for the student, but it wasn't bad. And it's a life learning skill. Guess what? It's not always going to be roses. So you can do anything for 3 or 4 months. You made a commitment, stick with it. We know it's not where you want to land as a job. And that's sort of a tough love approach that I take with them. A couple of times students have sort of been not bored, but wanting to take on more responsibility and weren't able to really voice that to the business partner. So I would reach out in that instance and very acquiescently talk to, Mr. Y, so-and-so really would like to take on more of a challenging project. I mean, what do you have that he can do from a special project perspective? And that's always been met with great, exuberation and, oh, absolutely. I just didn't want to overexert him. I knew he was still in school. So those are a couple of issues that have come up that we've quickly resolved. So Mr. I'll open up the floor for questions. If you want to read some of those from the chat, or I can get in the chat. I get distracted sometimes with the chat. Or Q&A, sorry, that's the Q&A.
Oh, I didn't realize I was still muted. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Looks like we have one question. It is an anonymous question.
How my boss?
What was that?
This is my boss.
I don't know. How have you successfully connected with community partners, especially those that do not openly advertise or have never had an undergrad intern before?
Really, like I said, it's, I'm like, hey, Erin, I've got a student who's interested in law. Can you hook me up with, a partner in this larger legal firm in the area? So that's an example. I know there are a bigger law firm in the area where I am that does a lot of media marketing. He's like, call Joey. I call Joey. Joey's in love with our intern. Joey's hired 3. They keep them going. 3 social media interns, which the last was a consultant with Chanel social media, like the brand. He was like, my word. So And their second intern moved to North Carolina to pursue a career with another legal industry. So it's really, I sort of, and I have to be careful because I don't want to, I can overwhelm myself. You really can have too many partners when you're a one person show. You have to sort of keep your consistent partners happy. And I have to sort of pick and choose how I'm going to bull rush market new ones. Sometimes I actually, I will, in fact, if someone asks, I'm looking for an IT internship specifically, I'll go research that industry, find out who I know, and go cold call them, so to speak. If a student approaches me, I will go look for that specifically. If that answered their question. Like faculty people are so quiet. Like I'm gonna start calling on them.
Thank you for that. Yes, if anyone else has any questions, please feel free to jump in the Q&A box and share those. We'd be happy to discuss those together. That box is open, so I'm looking for any incoming questions, but since we don't have any at the moment, I'll jump in with my own question.
Okay.
So you mentioned gathering feedback from your alumni. Do you guys have like a certain like drop form survey that y'all send your alumni, or do you just kind of reach out to them through cold call or email? How do you get back in touch with them?
The interns that are alumni, that
Right.
I personally contact them.
Okay.
I keep up with them. I'm not part of, there's a large alumni, organization that they can, I'm happy to pass on information and data, but I keep up with it personally in my own database. That's the best way to keep up with your own data. Do it yourself.
That sounds great. Thank you. Well, it does look like we have a few more questions coming in. So let's take a look here. This first one, do you do anything to strengthen connections to community partners to keep a positive relationship? We've discussed offering trainings, etc., but we haven't done that yet.
Yes, we did like an internship summit. We did over it's probably been a year and a half ago, internship roundtable. So it was extremely successful. We invited, probably had 100 people there. We had a panel discussion of our current partners and students, and it was wildly successful. It wasn't necessarily a training, but just more of an FAQ roundtable where we had lunch, that type of thing. So I would strongly suggest starting with that. And again, it's not rocket science. It's just, they just don't exactly know how to start the process. And I can just make it as easy and seamless as possible. Do not inundate them with paperwork. They are not academics. They don't like that. The less amount of paperwork you do and require of them, a short memo and a survey is all they have to do. And I do, in fact, teach it for course credit. Jean asked that. I see the Q&A here. I'm just going to jump in because I'm an economist, just efficient. Yes, as long as there's room on their evaluation, we certainly can offer class credit. At our institution, it's still a class. You must pay for it. It's 150 hours is required to be part of the internship over the duration of a semester, usually. They do of course, the actual internship hours, a research paper, an experiential paper, of course, a survey from both ends, and a couple of logs, and typically a one-on-one with me or a Zoom with me to pre and post follow up. But yes, they can get 3 to 3 hours of course credit for that. And that's a nice incentive, but they still must pay for it. They can also, a couple of my kids have actually done a few internships, but only one for course credit. We like to try and give everyone a chance to do, one internship. They can only do one for course credit. And Sarah, we don't limit, like a couple of folks have really hit it off with where they were, and they kept them on as a part-time employee. So once the internship has expired, they've kept them on as a part-time employee throughout the rest of their college career. That certainly has, that's a great factor. A couple of those have happened in the area. And again, community is certainly, I don't know where any of these individuals are from, or if you guys currently do internship programs, but this is more of a, I think they might, sometimes they call Dothan urban. It's not. It's semi-rural. Population wise, it may be not rural, but it's pretty rural. So we're not in Atlanta, we're not Birmingham, we're not in this really urban area. So the limitations are more small scale industries, small firms, and that's again what we cater to. And chamber events are also a great way, and we do a lot of Rotary and the Chamber of Commerce. So we do a lot of interns to the Chamber of Commerce. We strongly encourage the students to network through that process, and we get a lot of partners that way. We've also turned down some partners before. If someone asked that a couple of weeks ago, if you're new to this, you certainly want to vet and make sure that it's a learning process for your students. It is not a free labor gopher type of, this is not what we're doing here. So make sure that's, they're on the up and up with what they expect. And that's also important for all parties.
If anyone else has any questions, please feel free to send those into the Q&A chat.
How would one go about doing a Hawks Learning internship in marketing?
Yeah, so we do have different internships available within the company.
Okay.
Typically, we have a marketing intern usually maybe once or twice a year.
Okay.
And then sometimes I believe we'll have an accounting intern. And then we also have the student ambassador interns. That's the program I'm overseeing. And that is where students are representing Hawks on their school campus
Okay.
by
Right.
assisting students with the courseware.
Cool.
So we actually, for everyone who is here, we actually have our applications open right now for the student ambassador program for the upcoming fall. And then we, anytime we have any other departmental internships, we post those on our LinkedIn.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
I see Sarah. Yeah. The nonprofits, we've certainly applied about probably 10 out of the 92 have been unpaid. Like Feeding the Valley organization, Food Bank, Literacy Campaign, a couple of other regional organizations. It's not out of the question. It's just from an HR perspective, paid is better. I'm not an HR person, but that's just really, it solves a lot of problems. But we certainly do them. We like to at least try to give course credit when they're not paid, and make sure that the hours aren't too invasive for the students' obligations. We lots of times, Sarah, will actually run the nonprofits longer time length, where they're doing less hours per week. It's not really, I mean, we're not going to have somebody come in 5 days a week for an unpaid internship for 12 weeks. And that also begs, we place a large number of, we have a large international student base too. And they are certainly able to do paid internships with their I-9. I mean, we work with international programs as long as it's consistent with their degree program. They can certainly do internships for pay. That's just sort of a little bit extra process that I go through, and I've been through multiple times with Maria, my colleague. So that's really something that we also market, that we're very ecumenical. I mean, I will place anybody anywhere as long as you're a business student and you have strong communication skills. And they know that. I can list a number of them that will tell you about. I'll do my best if you'll just be a little bit patient sometimes too. But that's another question that someone's asked a couple of weeks ago.
I'd like to jump in and just ask about with the past year, you mentioned that y'all did do some virtual internships. How did the students enjoy that experience?
You know, it was just a difficult year, but it wasn't, we did still place 8 or 9. It was good. I mean, a lot of it was marketing, some IT. The IT ones certainly it wasn't a big hiccup for the IT internships or social media. There was a social media interns there that didn't miss a beat. The accounting ones were challenging from a virtual standpoint, but everything's picked back up this year. This past month has been really, really, really strong for requests for summer internships, and the spring too for accounting. So it really has again, last year, just kind of a wash, but the virtual ones certainly work well for our non-traditional students, as you might well expect. We have I think my average age is 27 for the placements the last time I looked. So, and that's not 21, it's 27. So for non-traditional students who are, a part-time, full-time job, 2 kids, the virtual internship really opens up a large amount of opportunities for them. And I stress that to our partners as well, even hybrid, even a little bit of coming into the office to network, to get that experience, and then doing some virtual work as well. That's a great model. I've been a hybrid fan for many, many years. We've been a hybrid model at school, and I think the same for a workplace environment is a great selling point. Works well for me. I don't do a 9 to 5 very well. I'm curious if anybody on the call actually does internship or is part of the program. If anybody on the call is the internship, advisor, liaison, whatever your self-given title might be. I'd love to chat with you further, and I will. You guys can share my information, my email, myself. I don't care. You can stick it on the screen if you want to. If you have it, my email and that type of thing. You can call or text. I'd love to talk further with you if you'd like. If you have any other questions.
I'm going to pull your email to paste that in the chat.
I did actually. Let's see. I can share. Let's see. I have it up here. You see that? There's my info.
We can. Yes, that's perfect. I do have one more question for you. I was wondering, with the feedback that you've heard, what are some of the most valuable, like across the board, what are some of the most valuable takeaways students have had in their experiences?
I think, like, probably, I'm trying to think, let's see. Workplace diversity, it's a huge leap from the classroom to the workplace. They don't always expect that. It's really eye-opening about their ability to manage time, to listen, to communicate, to hear what people are saying, and to learn from your peers. So I stress that, but it's never really gets through to them until they actually are there doing the actual internship in person. And that's, I guess that's sort of like the most eye-opening experience. And here's the thing too, it's like their level of confidence just goes off the charts when they've done an internship. And it just warms my heart. I mean, I'm an optimist, like I'm very passionate about what I do. And I think if you don't want to see them succeed, you're in the wrong profession. Like you have an obligation. Now, whether or not your next step is grad school or starting your own lawn care business, I don't care. But I personally have a role in seeing you get to the next step. And it's just really their confidence that goes extremely high with these particular programs. as it's the most rewarding experience, that they can do anything they want to do. And they go in not thinking that, and they come out, really knowing that they can take the world by the reins if they want to. And again, the best rise to the top, you really get the creme de la creme that apply to these anyway. You're not dealing with apathetic students. They don't ever even look at this reply. You're really getting the best students, and it's easier to place those, as we well know. But I work with them all. We work with everyone. Again, here's my information. Here's my, email, cell phone. I'm happy to chat, text. As I tell them, just not at 2 o'clock in the morning. All right, so you're for grading, Nina. Let's see. We no weekly reflection papers. I just got tired of that. I couldn't deal with that. It's too much. So grading, I check in with them weekly. The reflection stuff just kind of got redundant. If they're doing special projects, I typically check in every week with the student via email, text, phone call, something like that. Not the employer, but the student. So that's sort of my point on. Again, the surveys are big about, did you complete the task that you were assigned? I do look at the employer surveys as far as grading goes. Some of them are pass fail, A, B. Again, like I said, these are my stellar students. I have given some B's. I've given B's, not given a C. I've given B because of lack of communication and failure to turn in things on time. So that's certainly the criteria and they know that going in. They know that going in. Here's from the syllabus that's stated the due date to certain things, and that's really the only time that they maybe dock some points from a grading perspective. Probably half of the ones I place get student credit. Some of them don't really have a slot for it. It just kind of depends. You're welcome. This is fantastic.
And it does look like we had Lauren chat, and that she's the internship coordinator in Massachusetts for a community college.
Okay.
And she'd love to chat with you offline.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. She can feel free to give me a call or email. We can set up a time to chat. See, different community, Massachusetts, Alabama, Again, I would share the websites, but they're still on the ITQ. If you work in academia, you know what I mean. They're pretty. They spend a lot of time on those, but hopefully those will be live here in a bit. We have to do things, standard website design from IT. And people, these aren't pretty. Well, no, they're not, but they're standard. Cookie cutter approach.
Thank you so much for sharing your contact information for us, and all of this has just been so helpful, and I appreciate your time answering the questions that came in, and my personal questions as well. And everyone, I just thank you for spending time with us today, and we hope that you learned a lot and that you can apply this knowledge to your internship programs. Definitely reach out to Lane or Hawks if you have any questions or any needs about today's presentation. And we appreciate you coming. Again, we have recorded everything today. So we will be sharing that recording as soon as it is processed and ready for distribution. But thank you again so much. And it was a pleasure to meet you today.
Very nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.